Welcome, my dear listeners, to a thrilling new episode of Anxious Speaks podcast. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of decision making and the anxiety that comes with the age-old question, this or that. Get ready for an exhilarating journey that will challenge your thinking and define the notion of choices. Imagine standing at a crossroads, torn between two options. Now your heart is racing, your mind whirls, the weight of decision is hanging very heavy, and you're being extremely calculative of which either or to pick. But here's the twist. Choices aren't always about picking between right and wrong, or good and bad. In fact, sometimes you can have both. And we're here to show you how. In this episode, we'll uncover the secrets of decision making and debunk the myth of strict either-or dilemmas. We'll explore how our default mechanisms have played a big role and reveal that sometimes choices can be more flexible than we think. It's time to break free from conventional thinking and embrace the possibility of having it all. So grab a seat and get ready for an eye-opening journey through the maze of choices. We'll unravel some mysteries, shed light on the gray areas, and empower you to navigate the complexities with confidence. Now, are you ready to challenge the norm and discover a new perspective on decision making? Then, let's dive into this exciting episode of Anxious Speaks. Something very interesting that I consciously interacted with is the power of your choices. One thing you could never really run away from is the ability to choose or make a choice. And regardless of whether you make a choice consciously or unconsciously, if you decide not to choose, the choice will automatically be made for you. So, e.g., I choose not to go to bed now. That means I am choosing to stay awake automatically. So, we kind of have to choose regardless. So, if you're not choosing one thing, you're going to choose another. But I think that mentality has somewhat made us limited in mindsets. I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and he was talking about being able to buy a house. And his problem was, he needed to choose. And that was what he said his problem was. And to choose, he meant, do I buy a house or do I buy a car? And I go, why can't you buy both? And he kind of gives me this look like as if he had never actually thought of getting both of them before. I've also been, put in a place where I've had to unconsciously choose. We've created memes and tables that give us the this or that option. And I'm like, why can't I have both? Why do I have to put myself in a box where I have to pick one or the other, especially when there are literally no negative implications? Like, I can get both. Why can't I have both? Why do I have to limit myself to make one choice? Do I have to prefer one over the other? Do I have to reduce my tastes? Do I have to ignore one to get the other? And I think that is a problem with our mindset, because doing this makes things unnecessarily complex for us. I would have to go and sit down and think of the pros and cons on having to either get a handbag or a new shoe. And I'm like, there is really nothing stopping me from being able to afford both. So why do I need to put that pressure on myself to choose which has to be more important? Why can't I equally value both? And even though, everyone says, you can't, place equal value on two things, do you consciously have to make it a point of, if I don't have this, I can have this? So if I want to have this, I can't have this. Because that's usually the case. Like if I want a new phone, I can't have a new laptop. If I want to have a new laptop, I can have a new phone. So I'm creating a problem for myself by having to choose which one for me is more important. And that has always been something that makes me very uncomfortable, because sometimes I actually want both. Sometimes I don't necessarily need the two. So why do I have to choose which one is more important, especially if I can actually afford both, if there are actually no heavy implications as to why I must be able to afford only one of them? If I could make enough money to cover both, why can't I? Who makes these rules? Who sits down and defines this? Well, we've grown up in a society where you have to place priority on one thing over the other. And I probably may or may not have already talked about this in a previous episode, or I will talk about this in a future episode, about the concept of balance and, where we got that balance means equal, and if it's unbalanced, it's unequal. Two things might have equal priority. They have their own purpose in my life. I shouldn't have to be forced to make a this or that comparison. I shouldn't have to put myself in a box where I have to undermine my own desires. I shouldn't have to put myself in a place where I limit my abilities to limits that aren't even limits. Limits that I'm setting for myself, pressure I'm putting on myself, boundaries I'm placing on myself, not because of financial implications or anything, but because of a mindset that isn't even strong enough to hold water. You don't necessarily have to have a good or bad choice. Some choices are both good and some choices will both be bad. And, some choices will have equal weight. I think being able to get used to the fact that not everything is a black or white. Not everything is, either this or this. Now, sometimes look at a collective picture. What if I have both? What if I don't get any? I mean, those also fall as choices, do they not? All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. It's been amazing having you here. Thanks for staying till the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And this will push the algorithm to do what it does best. Send it to the best people who should listen to this. I'll see you next time on our next episode, where we'll take things up a notch. See ya. Bye.